Knightline is brought to you by the Dever Team, your source for New Smyrna Beach real estate and everything else New Smyrna Beach. Go to www.thedeverteam.com and call UCF alumni Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach needs. 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636.
Welcome to UCF Knightline, your source for UCF sports and former player information.
Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios, and this is Knightline 209 from the award-winning Knightline Sports Network. Joining me as always,
Trace Trylko. Hello, everyone. For UCF, it's Space Game Channel's The Classic Movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, when HAL 9000 says, "This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it." UCF does not allow Houston to spoil its fun, and we're talking about it with former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel. Men's soccer, back-to-back champs. We've got sound, plus Danny White on his new favorite color, previewing the men's basketball season, and Santa Claus shows up in Ask Knightline.
then lifts off, winning its 20th consecutive home game, 44-29 over Houston. The Knights moved to 4-1 in the American and 7-2 overall. Let's talk about this game, because that's what we do.
UCF Space Game. I love the fans, the students in particular, with their NASA uniforms on, the people that dressed up like aliens.
There were students there?
There were students there. Not enough.
Really?
Not enough.
I didn't see any.
But there were students there.
I didn't see any.
There were a lot of people having fun with the theme and the helmets. Wow. They did a great job with those helmets.
Yeah, it would have been so much cooler at night, though.
Oh, yeah.
In many ways.
Definitely.
Cooler in temperature and cooler in
it just adds to the ambiance. It's a space game. But
I did like that we had a flyover. That was nice.
Yeah.
I think that was our first one of the season. So that was cool. Yeah, I mean, the crowd I thought was fairly decent except for students. So it was pretty bare. I did see the ones in the space uniforms and the two aliens right beside them. That was pretty cool.
A couple of people dressed up as citronauts, as oranges.
Yeah,
that by the way,
cool.
That's a hot costume.
Yeah, anything you were wearing out there was
space
hot.
uniform and all that.
Anything.
But they had a lot of fun, those kids.
It was quite a warm day. I had quite the may still have some rosy cheeks from the sun out there. Good game overall, though. It was definitely a slow start, but once it got going, it definitely got going. You got another grade for the game this week?
Yes, which goes from quarter to quarter, and people lose their mind. I posted at the end of every quarter, and it was not good early. A lot of C's, D's, and F's on the first quarter grading. But as it turns out, 24% of respondents gave it an A, 68% a B, 7% a C, and then the malcontents, the trolls, the Cows
1%,
fans.
Yeah, we gave it a D or an F.
Yeah, those
was there actually an F? Was there one
I just
F?
wrote D or F.
Oh, okay.
Just to list it as a choice.
All right.
Sometimes I just
you can only do 4, right?
You can only do 4. Sometimes I find it laughable that so I don't even list it.
Yeah,
but I listed it.
I think it's pretty funny. Yeah. No, I wouldn't definitely give them an F. I could see the B though.
I think the B may be fair.
I could see B. The 7% for C. Those guys are. I don't know what either. Probably bandwagoners that don't know anything about football.
You'd like to have seen probably more rushing yards coming off 385 at Temple, but
different team, different game. You know, I mean, you can't run against certain people you can against other teams, I mean, it's just one of those things. It goes like that.
You talk about this ahead with Kyle, and it was a question that I asked in postgame of Trey Nixon, and of Coach Heupel as well. Is it not just beautiful just to watch Dylan Gabriel throw a pass? How he times it out, the trajectory.
Awesome.
I mean, it just,
awesome.
I mean, that Trey Nixon one, good for him that he turned his body around to position himself to get it. But just,
Trey
wow.
Nixon actually showed a little bit of effort in this game, a little bit more than normal. I call him the laziest player in the game.
Ooh.
Because he has what do they call those? What was the dinosaur that had the really short little arms? He never reaches out and catches a ball. He'll never dive for a ball. He maybe did it once during this game. He'll do it like once a game. Those ones that Gabe Davis is going and catching, where he puts his entire body on the line.
And that was a
Mark,
Gabe.
and he did it this
he
game.
Did one of those
but the
dive.
ones that are thrown at Trey Nixon like that, he won't dive for them and catch them. 90% of the time. You watch. I know. I've been saying this, and I've been saying this for a while. But he's got, what's that dinosaur that has the short arms?
I don't know.
T-Rex. He's got T-Rex arms because that's the only way he catches balls. His elbows never leave his body when he's catching a ball. Watch it. I'm telling you. Anyway, good effort from him this game, though. I will give him that because Gabe Davis was pretty much blanketed the entire time.
But with so many weapons, you can afford to not have as many targets to Gabe Davis. We saw at Cincinnati, he was pretty much half the more than half the targets.
We talk about that with Kyle later, and it was an Ask Knightline question. What's up with him? And honestly, he's on the radar now of a lot of people. Where he maybe wasn't before as much.
I don't know how he could have gone so many weeks without being, but yeah.
Well, he definitely is now because they're all putting their best guys on him. He was double covered a lot, and all that. So it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, Marlon Williams again shined, which was nice. Also, Bentavious Thompson shined as well.
Pre-game, saw Greg McCrae walking around with the leg brace. He seemed to be moving pretty well. Not football well, but moving around well. And I was genuinely surprised. We talked about it a great deal last week, not knowing the status of Adrian Killens. I was surprised to see him back in the action, though.
I was too.
He didn't do
a whole lot. Saying that he was going to be out for a few weeks.
Yeah. So,
I mean, they must have been not nearly as bad as I thought it was. So that's awesome.
See a guy, arm in a sling and everything. You just think that.
Well, the way he walked off the field with his arm hanging so low, that just, so maybe obviously that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was, which is, thank God.
Yes.
But early in the week, players were talking about that, in the press conference. I think it was Otis kept saying, no, he's going to be good. He's going to be good. Okay. I didn't want to, I wanted to believe, but I didn't. I was shocked when I saw him out there.
It seems to me if you want injury news, you go to Otis Anderson.
Yeah, well.
Don't even bother asking Coach Heupel injury-related questions. But just say to Otis, hey, Otis, how's AK doing?
Yeah,
I'll give you the whole show.
Otis or Nate Evans or somebody.
Yeah, Nate Evans will tell you what's going on, too.
That's awesome. I like it. So we know who to go to for that kind of stuff. Who knows if they've been talked to about that yet, but we saw some different things. We saw Brandon Wimbush come out and run, and I had alcohol in me during this game.
This shocks me not.
I know. I will tell you, this is funny because I make fun of people drinking the White Claws and stuff like that. I do.
Have you had it?
Yeah, they're really not that bad. When it's hot, they're much better than when it's not hot, I guess.
Okay.
It was so warm. I was sitting in the cabana, and I had a couple beers and was drinking one, and the sun was just beating down and roasting, and my beer was getting warm, and somebody had this pink freaking drink in like a cup, and I'm like, what is that? It had ice in it, and it just looked refreshing. And it was these drinks from Corona. They were Corona Refreshka or something like that. Oh my God. I'm telling you. I drank like 5 of them after that.
They have like 3% alcohol?
No, they're like 4.5% or something. You can drink them. They're very flavorful. Anyway, I normally would, and I'm going to get made fun of, I'm sure. But I'm telling you, in the hot sun, those things, they were sold out about halfway through the game. In the third quarter, they were gone. I could not find one anywhere. And you could find all kinds of beer. So I'm just telling you right now, if it's hot out there and you're in the sun, check out one of those things from Corona. Otherwise, drink the Yingling, of
Andrew
course.
with the beverage report.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying. Anyway, so I was drinking the pink drink, and all of a sudden this run comes out of nowhere, and I look over and I'm watching it, and I'm kind of confused. I'm like, wait a second, what's going on here? There's a quarterback, and it's not the normal one, and then there's this crazy reverse thing, which was hard to see from where I was at. I was, yeah.
I was equally disoriented by the whole sequence of plays there.
Anyway, I'm like, this guy runs for 32 yards, and I'm like, who is 3? I really had to think about it. Who is number 3? And I'm like, oh, well, that was Wimbush. Okay, now I get it. What a run. Finally.
Good play. Great time for it. Would have liked it a couple of weeks ago, but I'll take it
Not
this
in
week.
as a quarterback, in as a receiver, and gets a double reverse thing. That was great.
And then Daryl Mack comes in.
Well, Daryl Mack was in for that play.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
and then
the
he throws the
quarterback.
pass. I mean, it just a lot of things were happening all at once there that was disorienting.
Yeah, he threw, what did he throw? One pass that was good, and then the touchdown was not. So, but that was a nice little wrinkle. I mean, it even confused me. So, and I usually watch fairly closely. So, yeah, that was a good wrinkle.
I'm going to make Tulsa study it, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, we would have liked to seen some of these wrinkles a little quicker. I don't know why. I mean,
I think one thing, and we didn't talk to Kyle about this, but there's only so much a true freshman quarterback can grasp week in and week out, right?
I think he's grasping it, though.
But week in and week out, they give him a little bit more. Maybe going back to Pittsburgh or Cincinnati, maybe just being able to do a lot more.
Yeah.
He just wasn't there. You're starting to see him run a little bit more. And that was a question we asked and we were talking about. Now you're starting to see it. That's his comfort level,
right,
as well. So,
but in hindsight being 2020 as well, I think that he still gave us the best chance to win. I don't think that Mac would have given us the best chance to win in those situations. I don't. The arm that Dylan has is absolutely amazing. I mean, he's got... it's accurate, just has tons of power and speed behind it. I just think he's throwing a perfect ball. There obviously are ones that aren't, but I think that, did you see him make any freshman mistakes in this game?
No, he had a pretty clean game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no sacks, no turnovers. That's something Coach Heupel's talked about, is winning that turnover battle, but, that he wants to see his quarterback not turning the ball over.
A lot of that has to do with the way the offensive line is playing as well, and I think that they played a very solid game, at least in the second half. First quarter wasn't good, but after that, it really started going.
It did seem to be sluggish, if nothing else.
It was the whole thing was sluggish in the beginning. I think that, honestly, Houston came out and gave him more than they had planned for, as far as the players. Just more. I think that they thought probably that Houston wasn't going to give them that much, wasn't going to play as hard, was going to lay down a little bit easier, even in the first part of the game. I think they thought that Houston was going to come in and not play hard. Houston's kind of a weird story this year.
Well, weird story, yeah. The understatement, right there.
Just because of the guys.
There's a lot of talent on that team.
After 4 games, guys were like, "Oh, I'm just going to redshirt."
Yeah, it's an odd situation.
So
there.
that tells everybody on my team, if I'm the quarterback, the star quarterback, that I'm just going to redshirt. The season's over. That's what that tells me. And then the star wide receiver, I'm just going to redshirt. The season's over.
And their quarterback, 18 of 30, the interception by Neville Clark, really timely. Really flipped the
awesome.
whole momentum of the game there. They would have gone up 10 again, and they go down and score 5 sacks on him. What he was a little bit more successful about was scrambling away and getting away, and 54 yards on the ground, and picked up some timely first downs when he had to escape. But, they didn't let him beat him.
Was the guy that Collier hit, was that the quarterback? No, that wasn't. Was the quarterback? Was he running? Did you remember that hit?
Yeah, I
Holy
remember
Moses.
the hit more than I remember who he hit.
Yeah,
but,
I think I'm not sure if it was the quarterback or not, but he didn't get targeting, thank God, because they like to call that on him because he's a really hard hitter. Wow, though, that was. I mean,
it was
the dude
a wow
just
moment.
Stopped, like it was like the guy hit a brick wall. I had to watch the highlight on that UCF put out. I rewound that thing like 10 times and watched that hit. That was one of the best hits of the entire season for any player from UCF. That one should go down in history, to be honest with you.
It was one of our iconic
kind of like
hits.
the stand back hit.
Yeah.
This one, the dude got trucked. If that's still a thing, I don't know if that's still people still say somebody got trucked, but that dude got trucked big time.
Trucked.
Yeah, by Collier. That was one of the highlights for me, definitely. Yeah. So. What else? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, I guess I can start playing some
Hit
clips.
the sound.
We got all kinds of clips for us today. Let's start with and one clip that we do have that I'm going to play. I'm going to play Holgerson's post game because this guy, I had a lot of fun, by the way, watching him. In fact,
He's animated.
I probably didn't pay as much close attention to the game as I should have. Because I was like 7 rows up from Holgerson the whole time, and a lot of the time he was right in front of me, and I just watched him. I read his lips. He is very animated with his body and his mouth. Trust me, he says stuff over there that is very questionable, and you can hear it sometimes. Anyway, so I'm going to play that later, but here we'll just start out with Hype's opening remarks.
Really pleased with the win. I thought our kids regrouped and settled at halftime. Obviously, the third quarter was huge just in the way the game got played late in the fourth quarter. Thought as much as anything, our kids just kind of settled in and defensively played with great technique, had their eyes in the right place, and played assignment sound, played with great energy. We were able to put some drives together as well and keep them off the field a little bit and let them catch their breath. They got some 3-and-outs and special teams were solid in that quarter. Thought just early in the football game we didn't do a great job of coming out and playing the way we're capable of, but kids continued to compete through the first half. But again, proud of the way that we played in the third quarter there.
All right, well, he seemed to be happy.
He seems to be coughing less than he had in earlier weeks, too, by the way.
It's a nervous thing. It has to be for him. I don't think that I don't see it in other things that he does, so I think it's nervous. Let's hear from Josh Heupel on. We just talked about the Brandon Wimbush thing. Let's hear what he had to say about that.
Yeah, just unique set of plays that we thought that we could have him involved and engaged in. He's been great on the practice field, and DJ was able to get in during that set as well and create some big plays and had a chance to maybe hit a touchdown on it, and DB bats it down, but able to go punch it in on the back end of that drive.
And then this next one, Trace, you ask, and you mentioned this earlier as well about talking about DG and his passes with Heupel.
Are you able to enjoy Dylan's touch on the ball on some of these passes?
I am when it's completed. When it's not, maybe not so much. We're close to so much more out there. I thought he did do a great job of letting some of those wideouts run under those deep balls and letting those guys make it right and adjust to the football.
What did that big sigh mean? I think we need like a translator or something. What is that?
Oh, he's stealing a Sons of UCF bit?
Well, no, but I mean, maybe they can look into that. He does that a lot when you ask him questions.
I don't think he likes the questions.
Is that what that means, you think?
That was a positive.
Yeah, I mean.
They're in the battle of a game, right? But as a quarterback, is he able to just sit back? And does he ever just think, maybe that's the way I should just have asked it and said, you ever just look at that and go, wow, that's pretty. That's a nice pass,
Well, I mean, It is. I mean, it's true. We were just talking about it. You know,
I mean, it's so much fun to watch.
With
the
Kyle,
arc.
I mean, I'm in awe of the way this kid throws the ball.
That's
I love it.
That's where I was going
Yeah,
with
I
it.
know.
And
Well, that's the hypelism of the week, I guess.
You again.
When Trace asks questions, I think that's the only time that he does that. It's weird. He always answers your question. He could just go, ugh,
No, well, he
and
cut
look
me off
next.
on one when I was asking about penalties, I think it was. He cut me off on.
I got that one, but I don't know if I think because he cut you off, I don't think I put your question in there, but let's see.
There's some post-whistle penalties that just can't happen. Not pleased with that at all. We can't do that. You can't hurt the team. Was it better? Yes. There's still ways for us to be a whole lot better. Some of the playing penalties, that's going to happen, but we can be better yet.
Yeah. So your question, I didn't have it in there for some. It was probably because he cut you off or something.
It's when I sighed. That he no. That's what I ought to do. I ought to go, oh, gosh.
You should. Your next question after he sighs, at you once, you should sigh.
But, now that you mentioned that, he gave me a pretty deep sigh when I said going into the bye week, do you step back and evaluate your performance at the bye week? We're constantly evaluating our performance.
Oh, who knows? All right. Well, that's good stuff. Next, let's hear from Heupel on the second half defense.
I don't think schematically there's major changes that have happened at halftime. I think as much as anything, our kids have settled into the game. They've gotten their eyes in the right place and played with great technique. And early in the football game, we gave them the quarterback some ways to get out of the pocket with some of the rush lanes that we created as we're trying to work to the quarterback. You can't do that with the man defense that we're playing on in the secondary. He's able to pick up and extend and make plays and continue the drive. And then we just didn't fit the counter scheme a couple times the right way.
So second half, Randy definitely showed up in this one.
But you know what I will say, through a season, nearly 2 seasons with Randy Shannon, we've been talking about the second half Randy. And
not so much this year.
We poke around and ask questions of the players about this, and it's interesting how they speak to it, though. I mean, it was a question that came of Nate and others, and they're pretty consistent in talking about how it's not this rah-rah speech, it's not this big radical thing, it's this is what you did wrong, this is what we need to do. I mean, so maybe we look into it too much, the big second half adjustments. Maybe they just learn from what was not working as effectively in the first half of games.
Well, it's interesting because I have Nate Evans talking about that exact thing here.
For some reason recently, we kind of come out a little sluggish, not feeling it, and we'll step up in the second half. But against top-notch teams, Houston is not a top-notch team, but the top guys, you can't do that, and that's who we look to face. So we just got that corrected. We can't, we have to fix that probably during the week of practice. Probably this week, that's going to be our thing. Just to stay on that gas pedal. Don't let off.
So that quote right there got some weirdness going on Twitter.
Well, the beat writer that covers Houston, I think it's for the Houston Chronicle. Yeah, it's the Houston Chronicle. Joseph Duarte put on his Twitter feed last night. He quotes Nate. He's got quote marks around it. You just heard it.
Yeah.
You've just heard what he said.
Right.
And what Duarte quotes Nate Evans is saying, for some reason, we kind of come out a little sluggish and not feeling it. We'll step up in the second half against top-notch teams, period. Then he writes, Houston is not a top-notch team. That's not, you just heard it. It's not what Nate said. I went back in and transcribed it.
And
I sent it to Nate.
Did stumble on it a little bit.
Well, yes, but that's not what he said.
That's not what he said.
I transcribed it. I sent it to Nate so that he'd see it. Others took video in there and sent it to him. And I sent it to Duarte, and I asked that he correct it. And as we record on Sunday evening, it still remains on his Twitter feed. And the exact quote is, but against top-notch teams, not Houston is not a top-notch team.
Yeah.
But the top guard, I mean, that he did not say
top guys is what he said, but
top guys. I had trouble saying. Top guys.
It's guys.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that right then.
Top
Okay,
guys.
that's my bad on that. I didn't hear that. But that is a completely different connotation. And I don't believe Duarte was in the room. So where he got that sound and how he interpreted that, and mistakes happen. I mean, it's you're not perfect in that profession.
But own it when you do that.
Well, it's now 24 plus hours as we record, and it still remains on his Twitter feed. And it's, you got Houston fans, John. I mean, to the extent bulletin board, quote unquote, bulletin board material matters in 2019 with social media and the news cycle. But it's wrong.
Well, the Twitter mafia definitely let him know that was not okay.
Needs to be corrected. And
Nate
Nate took exception to it on his own Twitter, saying that's not what I meant.
Yeah. And he was in that reply as well. So I remember seeing.
What I do like, while we sometimes get on some of the fans for putting players and players' parents into posts, they also have the back of our players when it comes to stuff like this. Our fan base flooded the American Athletic Conference with complaints regarding Otis Anderson being left off the list of one of the best players in the league. No, and that's not to say that the other guys listed didn't have great games. 205 yards.
Nobody had a 205-yard game, though. So, that's what's crazy about it.
So our fan base does have the back of players.
Yeah, and that's why you tweeted, to Nate, showing him that guy, misquoted him.
Just say,
it's not
my bad, a mistake, and take it down, and all will be right with the world. Yeah. But to leave it up there, come on.
Yeah. Well, Nate Evans is not the kind of guy that would do that either. We all know that. We've heard him, all kinds of stuff. So, okay, let's hear what Josh Heupel had to say on my sleeper defensive player of the year, who I said I thought was the defensive player of the year so far, Neville Clark, on this pick.
Huge play, just they had put some drives together, right, and we had forced a couple of field goals at that time. I think, it might have been a one-possession game at that time, where maybe we're on the wrong side of it, and Neville comes up with a huge play. I believe a wheel route right there. Guys just kind of been battling here and playing really good football here the last couple of weeks. Huge play by him.
Yeah, absolutely huge. What a great pick that was.
Big momentum shift in the game.
Yeah, I don't think he felt really good after that pick. Neville, I think he was a little bit banged up in the previous weeks. So he went down kind of hard after that, and they kind of sat him a little bit after that. So hopefully he's on the mend again. Also here, Josh Heupel on Bentavious and the way that he's been running the ball.
Super consistent, man, and does a great job of finishing his run. He's been great with the ball in his hands. Great pace on a couple of the pull schemes today, where he takes the puller to the second level, able to cut back off of it, and some huge plays in the run game from him, and just his physical presence out there. He's done a great job in pass protection too. I think that's one of the things that maybe goes unsung with him and all those running backs at times.
I cannot wait till next year, probably, when we see a lot more of Bentavious. I think that he's going to be in there much, much more after Killins graduates and all that stuff. That'll open a lot of doors, I think, for Bentavious. So
7 carries, 65 yards, the 43-yard touchdown, longest run of the season. What sort of surprised me is in the post-game notes that the second touchdown, when he added his second touchdown, he leads the team with 7. I wouldn't have thought him as the team lead in touchdowns. He wouldn't have been the first to come to my mind.
Well, they've put him in the shorter yardage things, and then sometimes he'll break them too. So, I mean, he's broken quite a few of those. His yards are probably starting to pile up too. I'm not sure what the.
Speaking of rushing, Dylan Gabriel, just 2 carries. 22 yards, but that included a very nice touchdown.
That was
a good play call.
It was absolutely beautiful.
Can we just say, between the Wimbush play call, that play call, for as much as maybe not us, but as much as some of the fan base wants to criticize and critique every play call as the worst play call in the history of play calls, can we give some credit that those were good play calls at the right time and they worked out pretty well?
I miss... Where are all these teams these people that always want to talk about play calling? Where are these teams playing that they're coaching? I don't understand. There's so many people that are obvious.
All these people should apply for the newly vacant Florida State job.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people that know so much about football and know so much more than Coach Heupel does. They should go up there and apply for that job.
How about that, by the way?
Yeah.
That's a heck of a buyout.
I didn't think he'd last this long. I don't know what they're going to do for money. I mean, they have to be hurting.
There's some sort of money machine up there.
Well, obviously, but
so speaking of that, if you've of course been
under
out
a
of the
rock.
loop, Willie Taggart is no longer driving the bus in Tallahassee for Florida
He'll
State.
be driving a bus in Tallahassee, but it won't be for the school. It won't be for the football team.
Luke Hetrick with Spectrum Sports in Orlando on his Twitter on Sunday night at LH Sports TV lists 5 candidates that he thinks
here we go.
should be in consideration for the Florida State job. And on that list includes Matt Rule of Baylor, Les Miles of Kansas.
Please.
That's interesting, though.
It's not going to happen.
That's interesting.
Not going to happen.
Bob Stoops, who's now in the XFL with the Dallas franchise. Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. But it would seem to me, by the way, with
He's
it
waiting
looking
for the Ohio
like
State job.
or USC is hiring Cincinnati's athletic director, and maybe that would be a landing spot.
I've heard USC is hiring Urban Meyer.
Well, Urban Meyer, surprisingly, is not on this list, but the last name on Luke Hetrick's list, Josh Heupel of UCF.
Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen.
Who, by the way, is now 19-3 at the helm of the Knights. Basically, that's what Luke's saying is that any coach that is 19-3 is going to be rumored for jobs like this.
Well, of course.
But I think, really, this is the first time now. It's Florida State, so it's closer. But this is the first time I've seen some energy around whether Josh Heupel would be considered somewhere else.
But he's such a horrible play caller. Why would you? I mean, he runs on 3rd down and runs on 4th down. And why would you hire a guy like that?
I heard part of the morning show, and one of the calls you got was talking to Kyle and you about that sometimes we're critical of that play call where he's running, but it's running a play to set up another play.
It's all that, and I've been saying that for months.
I'm on Twitter during the games, back and forth with people posting things.
All those coaches.
I never see really anybody make that statement that, those 2 runs set up this or that set up that. Nobody ever says any of that.
Yeah, well,
they just criticize it when it doesn't work.
Because they don't know what they're looking at.
Now, again, that is not to suggest that there aren't play calls.
There are some that
we
are
have been critical of.
Absolutely. But the majority of the time, those of us that know what he's trying to do can see it.
I'm paraphrasing here, so I'm not reading it directly, but I got questioned and criticized on Twitter during the game for being overly positive. I won't criticize. I'm like, they won again, and
jeez.
They should have won every game. And I'm like, well, what will be the standard by which you will be happy? They must win every game because then it was the garbage touchdown late at the end, which was really only set up by a fluky turnover, or they probably wouldn't have gotten those points,
I wish for the day. I wish for the day that whatever computer networks that all these social media things are on will just shut off one day. Seriously. I just hope that it shuts off. Twitter, Facebook, the whole. Yes, we use it for marketing and we use it for interjecting with people and players and all kinds of stuff. We do that, but it's gotten out of hand.
I'll quit. I'm good.
No,
I'm ready. No. I'm done.
Okay, fine. That's fine. I'm quitting too. Nightline Twitter is done. Seriously, it's not just football and not just sports, but everything. Everybody has all of a sudden gotten these huge balls to say whatever they want to whoever they want and hide behind their computer screen. It's ruining the world. It is ruining the world. I will say it again.
That's a bold statement.
It's true.
It's ruining the world.
It is like with politics and everything else. We're not going to get into that, but Twitter and Facebook and social media have ruined a lot of things, unfortunately. Yes, I enjoy them, but I mean, man, it wasn't like this before. It wasn't
back in the day.
Well, I mean, I don't know what that was.
Is it an airplane?
Yeah, I hope so. It sounded like it was a crashing airplane. I don't know what it was. Some noise outside of the 1148 studios here. Oh boy, that was probably, maybe that was the guys in the black uniforms coming to get me now after criticizing social media and wanting the thing shut down.
So slowly but surely on polls, we're inching up.
Speaking of social media,
yeah, the new polls, UCF moves up 2 spots in AP, now 26th, but still 28th in the coaches poll, up no spots from last week. The big one, of course, Tuesday night, the cartel releases its invitational rankings. And I think what's going to be interesting to see is where they put now what is 4 American teams in the top 25. Navy in there at 25. And what a great game between SMU and Memphis on Saturday night, a primetime showcase. So
yeah,
I imagine that they will be
that was a heck of a
conveniently
game.
left outside that, what is it, top 16 that they do or whatever it is.
It's top 25.
Is it a top 25?
Yeah.
But that's a 16. Didn't it break down at 16? That's 16 something is important. Why
I
do
think it's still top 25.
Why do I have 16 in my brain? But anyway, I think they're all going to be clustered at the bottom.
Okay, well,
I don't
probably.
think, you think any of them are going to be in the top?
I doubt
No.
it. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's, yeah. I don't know. They should be higher than they are, obviously. I think we should still be higher than we are. But
do you have something to shred? Because you're going to shred me now.
I'm going to shred you?
You're going to shred my next comment.
Okay, well.
Perhaps.
Might put your fingers in there.
No. I got enough problems. I closed the one in the door. Let's not do any of that.
Nail ever fallen off yet?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Perhaps now is the time we should give some credit.
Oh, boy.
To Mike Oresco. Should we give Mike Oresco some credit? This is not to say that UCF didn't pave the way for this during 2017, 2018, Danny White, and all of the momentum. But perhaps we should give Mike Oresco. We can't just blame him for everything. We've got to give
what are we giving him credit?
That he's had a vision on the Power 6 branding and labeling.
He
that
has
the
nothing
league
to
is
do.
strong.
He has nothing.
You can't just bash him.
He has nothing to do with how the players play.
I know, but you can't just bash him.
So what did he do for it?
That with his leadership, this is a stronger
What leadership?
It's a stronger conference.
What leadership?
I'm just saying
What
that we
has he
can't
ever
just bash
done?
him. We just
what
can't
has he ever
bash
done
him.
to lead? Where was he to back up our claim to national championship? Where was he?
I'm with you on that.
What has he ever led
I'm
at?
just saying that at some point,
Oh my
with
God.
this many teams in the top
Trace,
25,
no.
you can't just bash him.
No. Yes, we can.
You can't just bash him.
Yes, we can. Absolutely. And he's really messing up the league starting next year, the conference. Really messing it up, personally.
Because?
With no divisions.
Yeah, it's going to be a different world.
Yeah. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Grab another team. There's plenty of them that would love to come and play in the
They all get
American.
more money, though, when they divide it up, maybe.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, yes.
There seems to be no energy
that's the
around
one,
that, though.
I know, but who is not having energy about it?
Maybe there's just not a good fit. I mean, we've gone through this.
Army is a beautiful fit. Somebody like that. I'm sure that there's somebody in one of those lowly conferences out there that would love to come to the American and play.
All I'm saying is, with 4 teams in the top
Hell,
25.
add 2.
With 4 teams in the top 25, Mike Oresco can smile.
Add 4. 3. I don't care. Add
Are you
somebody.
counting like the opening song? 4, 3, 2.
Something like that.
All right, there's my shreddable moment.
Yeah, well, I'll throw you in the tree shredder later. People wonder where you're at for a week before they come and arrest me.
A lot of people coming to your door.
Anyway, I got cameras. So back to the clips. Josh Heupel on DG's record and his potential.
First, I think it starts with the players around him. We've got a really good group up front, and we've got some young guys that are going to be really good up there that have played some meaningful snaps as well. I think our skill players are electric, and got some good young ones that are getting some time as well. And running backs, he's done a great job of distributing the ball. Last couple of weeks, he's done a great job of taking care of the football. When it hasn't been right for us, we've been on the wrong side of the turnovers. I'm proud of him as much for that as anything. But he's got a high ceiling and only going to continue to get better.
All right, so the record I'm talking about is the most yards by a freshman quarterback at UCF.
surpassing Ryan Schneider.
And I thought that he did that last week, but it was just in the notes this week. Maybe that he was approaching it, or it was tied for it last week. I'm not sure. Let's hear what DG had to say about that when he was asked about that record.
Today you set the record for passing yards by a freshman. How does it feel?
Not too worried about that. Appreciate that, but we got Tulsa next week, and that's my main focus.
So he could care less, basically, is what he's saying.
The only time he kind of came off script and message was when he was asked about Mackenzie Milton. It was nice to see Mackenzie go out for the coin toss. And he really lights up when he talks about how important Mackenzie is to him. So that's about the only time he goes off script. I thought I asked him, trying to get him to open up a little bit, asking if the experience last week at Temple instilled some more confidence, boosted his confidence with the true road game, another road game contest. And he just went back into 1-0 speak and really didn't answer it at all. And I'm like, okay.
All right. The one thing that I thought that he kind of did answer a little bit was on the slow start of things. Here's what he had to say about that.
I think we just started slow, mostly on my part. We got to get completions. Obviously getting the first down is huge, but we handled adversity. We went 3-and-out twice. We came back and put some points on the board. So that was huge.
All right. So, I try to go through this stuff and find good stuff that he says, but there's just it's the same thing over and over and over again. So
he's consistent.
Yeah, there's just not a lot to have from him. All right, a couple more clips here. Here's Kenny Turnier on adjustments as well, and he had a heck of a game.
I just feel like, in the second half, we get an opportunity to sit back and look at our mistakes in that first half, so we just can't make the same mistake twice, you know what I'm saying? So we just limited mistakes and just playing hard, they're gonna do itself.
And then the next one, or the last one here, is Trey Nixon on the game.
Yeah, I would say we did a good job on offense when it comes to, playing as a whole. O-line, running backs, receivers blocking for each other, making their plays. We started out a little slow, too, but we got, back on track and handled business.
All right, well, started off slow, but got back on track to handle business. So that's it pretty much for the football clips, except one more that I've got, which is the icing on the cake here. This is good stuff. This is Dana Holgerson, and this is his post-game, the entire thing. It's only 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
That was his whole post-game?
I think that this was it. So, this is what dejection sounds like.
Dana just coming out third quarter.
Hey, we sucked. We didn't block and tackle.
A lot of different things could happen, but that play, Clayton's interception there, they turn around and march 98 yards.
It's bad. And I thought Clayton played pretty good. I thought we had a really good game plan, offensively, defensively. They haven't lost her in 3 years. They're 34-3 in the last 3 years. So did we just lose the team?
No.
They're pretty good. Our guys refuse to listen to the things that are said about them, and they just keep fighting and playing. And I really appreciate them, and they just put their head down and play. And we're getting better. That was a pretty well executed first half. Yeah, we threw a pick. Clayton's still inexperienced. He shouldn't have thrown that ball. We had 3 other people open. He'll learn from that. We pinned them inside the 1 yard line twice, and they score on 99-yard touchdowns. I know they did one. I'm not sure about the other one. We throw a pick and they get it on the 1. That's where turnovers can help you, not hurt you. We'd rather have the points, but they're backed up on the 1. Defense got to go out there and stop them, and didn't. So blame it on whoever you want to blame it on, but it's not good complementary football.
Right.
I thought we could have been up by more than 2 at halftime. We played a really good first half.
I was going to say go toe-to-toe in that first half to be able to.
It was perfectly executed. They did a really good job. We could have got a few more points on the board. We had to settle for a couple of field goals, and we threw that pick. So we could have been up more, which to beat a team like this, you have opportunities to jump on them. You better get up when you can get up. they came out and played their tail off in the second half. We knew they would. We ran out of gas. We're running out of people. We're running out of bodies. We're running out of excuses. We're running out of everything. They played better than we did in the second half, and they won.
On the bodies, Moba starting today. Patrick didn't make the trip, so, I mean, is that pretty much...
Yeah, Kyle gave us what he could in the first half, and then he was shut down. Yeah, I mean, there's guys that are a part of this team that aren't playing for a bunch of different reasons, and Patrick couldn't go. Hopefully we get him back for the next 3 games. We'll get a bye week, and hopefully heal up a little bit to be able to give it our best here the last 3 weeks.
Good.
All good. Thank you.
All right, well, that was it.
We're running out of excuses. We're running out of time.
Yeah.
We're running out of the building.
We're running out of players. We're running out of everything. That, I think, should be one of those classic coach quotes.
There's no way he came to Houston expecting the season that he's had. There's no way.
No. I mean, his pocketbook is looking good, though. Yeah. His wallet is thick.
He's fine. He's doing fine.
So, yeah, for them to lure him away from a place where he had a winning team anyway to a lowly group of 5 team, yeah. So, good for him. But, yeah, it's not the Houston that we've seen in the past.
No.
At all.
Big thank you to Cindy Kilgallen, who wrote, thank you for posting the little on-field teases.
Yeah, those are awesome.
May have to start incorporating those into the basketball games as we have basketball next week.
Well, if we continue social media.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true. We may put an end to that. But until then,
okay.
I want to thank Cindy, who wrote, always enjoy hearing your final words on game day. I never really thought of it like that. I just thought of it as a way to promote what we're doing on the Sunday shows, but I thank her for
maybe
those
you
words.
Should throw a little bit more commentary in there as your opinion.
All right, well, we'll consider that. But next, we get analysis and commentary from our football analyst, former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel. He will join us on the Knightline hotline.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline and Knightline Postgame Live. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
Welcome to Inside the Huddle with former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel, brought to you by the Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. Waterford Lakes, 855 North Althea Trail, Orlando.
Time again to catch up with former UCF quarterback Kyle Israel, who joins us on the Knightline hotline. Kyle, before we talk about the space game and UCF's victory over Houston, I wanted to spend a few moments remembering former UCF offensive coordinator Charlie Taff, who passed away this week. What do you think his legacy is for the Knights program?
That's a very good question. First and foremost, Coach Taff was a wonderful guy, more than a coach. I got to spend more time with him in the last couple of years as he was a frequent visitor of Little Greek, and so we had opportunities to sit down and chat. And just a really, really great coach of football, teacher of football, and teacher of young men, especially the work that he did at the Citadel. Which was phenomenal work there. They even beat South Carolina, I think, back about 15 or 20 years ago. So, Coach Taff, obviously extremely sad. I have talked to Brian, his son, over the course of the week, and the family is obviously mourning, but doing good and moving forward. His legacy is arguably he saved Coach O'Leary's tenure when he comes in 2009 or 2010. It's a stark difference in the style of offense that we ran and the style of points that we put up. Obviously, the Fiesta Bowl season, I think, was truly because of what Coach Taft was able to do with Blake Bortles and that wide receiver core. He put life into this program that just didn't exist offensively before, and so he's a critical player in the success that we've had over the last 8 to 10 years. As impressive as the Peach Bowl victory was, perhaps there's been no more dominating performance by a UCF team in an unexpected way than that Fiesta Bowl win over Baylor. Well, you think about Baylor, what Baylor was doing at the time, the way they were scoring points, and the role that they had been on. That game, people truly gave us no shot at winning that game. And for our offense to go out and do what it did to not just beat Baylor, but to really stay in an arms race with Baylor throughout the course of that football game was phenomenal. It's good that people are speaking so fondly of him from football to all walks of life. You can tell he really touched a lot of lives. He absolutely did. I know that he'll be truly missed. He was still a great quarterback coach. He did a lot of quarterback training here in Central Florida and really had made Central Florida his home, after his time at UCF. So somebody that will be truly missed. But if there's one silver lining for Coach Taft is that, from the time that he started having back pain until the time that he succumbed to the cancer, it was very short and there was not a lot of suffering. And that's something that Brian has passed along to me to let people know. Thank you for sharing your memories of him. There's no good way to segue into a victory over Houston, but we shall try. Knights get a space game win. It wasn't always pretty, but UCF moves to 7-2. A little bit slow there offensively. The first couple of drives, we went 3 and out. Obviously, with our pace and style, that's something that can be a little bit concerning early on. Our defense felt like they were on the field very early. And, you go 3 and out twice like that. Those drives lasted somewhere around like a minute and 20 seconds or so. So I was starting to get concerned that our offense was off the field so quickly and our defense was going to have to put up with what at the time was a very high execution rate offense for Houston. So we did get into a rhythm there, obviously in the second quarter and definitely in the third, but it was a little bit of a sleepy start for our offense and defense early on, and it kind of felt that way throughout the stadium for the fans as well.
Hey, I want to bring up something that I forgot to mention this morning when we were talking on Knightline the morning after. I'm going to read this from the game notes. After the game, Gabriel had 298 passing yards in the game and has now passed for 2,516 yards on the season, the most ever by a freshman.
At UCF.
At UCF, yeah. Ryan Schneider had 2,334.
Well, that's obviously extremely impressive. Listen, our expectations have been so high over the last 36 months of this football program, and the 2 losses have seemed to damper some of that momentum and some of that energy. However, if you just want to cut out what Dylan Gabriel has done this year and kind of look at it in a vacuum, it's truly remarkable. Now, does he have great wide receivers around him? Yes. Is he in an offense that throws the ball deep? Yes. But, just like what you saw on Saturday, when he's on and his accuracy is there, which is, pretty often, especially for a true freshman, he's as good as anybody in the country at throwing a deep pass. And, I mentioned it this morning, Andrew. You think of the game yesterday, and Dylan had a bunch of great plays, but there was a play on 3rd and 20 that he was able to hit Otis on a swing pass, went all the way through his progression that got us to 4th and 6. And then on 4th and 6, throws a 30-something yard touchdown pass to Trey Nixon on the money. That sequence of plays right there, I think, is a small snapshot at the growth that we've seen in him. But There's also some plays and passes that were dropped yesterday that were big, deep plays that would have been more chunks of yards. So, again, what Dillon Gabriel is doing is phenomenal. The fact that we have him for another 3 years has got to leave you really, really excited, especially with the way that he's playing right now.
I am. I'm absolutely excited. One of the things that I tried to watch yesterday, I was sitting in the cabana in like the 7th row, so I was able to see him a little bit closer, and the trajectory of his ball that he throws is unbelievable. I mean, I don't even know how he does it, to be honest with you. Some of those long balls like that are in just such the perfect spot. I mean, what does it take to do that? I mean, I when I was a quarterback in high school, I could never throw a deep ball like that, ever.
Well, it's all angles, right? It's all like at what angle is the ball leaving your hand, and at what angle is your elbow leading that football. And I would imagine, I don't know this, I would imagine, the size of the hand plays a big role. To be honest with you, I had a smaller hand. Now, my girlfriend's hand, frankly, is larger than mine.
I wouldn't tell anybody that. I would not tell anybody
that. So what you're saying is that size matters when it comes to the trajectory.
My grandfather always told me to make sure I look for breeding attributes, and that's certainly one of them, without doubt.
Oh, Lord.
But, again, hand size...
Places where nothing has ever gone before.
The hand size plays a huge role. Seriously, it does in the ability to grip the football. Just think about how much easier it is to throw a smaller and smaller football when you're around the house or something. So that, and then the angle that it comes out at, his elbow truly gets high and up there, and he has puts a great trajectory on it. Some of it's scientific, some of it's just natural born talent. But yesterday, Andrew, was another day where that was literally on display.
Absolutely. It was. I mean, the guy amazes me absolutely throwing that thing.
All right, let's nitpick, though, a bit, 3/4 of the way in. What are you seeing in terms of his footwork? What other areas do you want to see him continue to make progress over these next 3 regular season games?
Well, yesterday, I mean, one of the biggest things that I've been saying all year was his ability to run the football, and we saw him keep a zone read yesterday and get something like a 20-yard touchdown out of it that showed that he had some pretty decent speed and wheels. There were maybe even another few occasions during the game that he handed off on 3rd and short and probably could have kept it around the edge again. But, I'm going to continue to say that that's going to be going to need to be a critical part of his game, is moving the chains when just everything else breaks down, because throughout his career, it's unlikely that he'll have somebody like Gabe Davis, Trey Nixon, Marlon Williams, Otis Anderson, that collective of guys around him to distribute the ball to. I hope that we still have athletes that are that incredible, but there's going to be times where he is going to have to make plays with his feet. And so I'll continue to nitpick about that. But yesterday was a great step in the right direction. And then secondly, he even came out and said in the press conference, one of the things that he was focusing on was his leadership capabilities. I really think that, early on in the season, we really just didn't have that field general or that leader really anywhere on the team, at least that you could kind of see with the naked eye. And, so I think continuing to establish himself as the leader of this team, the leader of this program, will be critical for not only his growth, but this team's growth and success down the road. So those are really the only areas. Other than that, I'd have to break down film. I'm sure you could find things without a doubt, and it's hard to really tell with footwork things. Some people are tweeting at me different footwork angles and how he's throwing the ball, and I mean, that's just really getting into breaking down science that most people really have no idea what they're talking about, and sometimes, frankly, including myself. So I'm not going to really go there. I'm happy with Dillon Gabriel right now. I really, really am. We're fortunate to have him. He could be at USC, who would definitely love to have him right now.
No sacks given up by the offensive line. What are you seeing there 9 games in? Do you feel comfortable with where they're at, the holes they're opening up for the running game, but as well the protection they're giving the quarterback?
I do feel good about it. I was critical of the offensive line in the early part of the season, especially aspects of the game versus Cincinnati and Pitt, and even some other games that we won. I thought they needed to improve their run blocking. I also clearly versus Pittsburgh, we were just under so much pressure and duress, or we weren't, Dylan was under so much pressure and duress that he couldn't really get anything going. I think they've improved in the passing game. I think if what some of the offensive players said last week about Coach Heupel simplifying some of the calls and the schemes, I think that can certainly help. And they just look like they're playing more confidently and playing with a little bit nastier. And so you look at Parker Boudreaux, had one of his best games, or his best game of the season yesterday. I watched him a number of times pulling around, picking guys up, moving guys out of the hole. So I'm feeling definitely more comfortable with how the line's progressing. Obviously, Dylan not taking any shots yesterday is something you get really excited about if you're a quarterback and an offensive lineman. So I'm hoping that they continue to keep what we're doing now going. So we can see if we can finish this thing out undefeated.
Hey, I'm going to pull from the Ask Knightline mailbag real quick and ask you one of the questions. We talked a little bit about this morning. This is from Keen Snail, I think it is. Keen Snail, I think is his name.
Keen Snail?
Yeah, Keen Snail, at Keen Snail. It's somebody from Twitter. So
okay,
I guess that's what it is. It's what it looks like. I may be saying it completely wrong. It could be Keen's Nail, but I think it's Keen Snail. Anyway, he says, or he or she says, definitely not criticizing anyone, but why do you think Gabe Davis's numbers have been decreasing? Defense is keying on him, or DG reading the field better, or what?
Whew. Loaded question. I think that's a combination of things. Yesterday, even though Gabe was getting press and not as much press as we've seen him face in some other games this year, anytime he was in press, they had a safety over the top a majority of the time. And I don't know if you saw how big number 2 Houston safety was. I've never seen a safety that big. But they had a guy kind of playing his side and over the top all game. Now then and so they were playing a lot of the game. They were playing cover 6, which is cover 2 to the boundary, half a field to the boundary side and quarters to the field side. And you saw Trey Nixon take advantage of quarters coverage on that 4th and 6, where the corner was just sitting at about 8 to 10 yards and just ran right by him. But in that 6 coverage, when we're on the left hash, Gabe Davis is going to have a safety over the top backside. And so I think that it's a combination of coverage. I think that Dylan is naturally going to get better at working through progressions. And I think coaching staff is smart in saying, okay, people are going to know we're keen on Gabe. Well, let's figure out how to use him as a decoy in situations and find other guys to get open. And I think it's a number, really all 3 of those things.
Houston is driving deep in the red zone up by 3, and Neville Clark comes up with a big interception. Take us through what you saw on that play, and as well, what you think of his play this season and his career at UCF, and how you think that may translate into a professional career.
Well, it was a great play by him to kind of bait that quarterback into that throw. Now, it was a worse throw, compared to being just an outstanding defensive play. And that's not a knock on Neville, because we know that he's capable of making big time plays. But, Houston's quarterback had 1 or 2 other guys open, before he went back to that wheel route over there, which Neville just baited him into. So I thought that certainly was a huge, momentum shift. I think because on that drive, we went and took it 98 yards the other direction for a touchdown. So that's, there's a 14-point momentum swing for you potentially right there, which was critical, down 3 at that point in time. And then, Neville is an interesting player to me. And I'll be careful what I say because his dad loves to tweet. And so I don't want to be on the bad side of one of his tweets. I don't know what to expect, to be honest with you. He's great in coverage. He's great in man coverage. He's very kind of lurky, and by that I mean you want to know where he is before the play starts, where his leverage is at. If you're a quarterback, whether he's inside or outside leverage, just to try to get some cues on what coverage he's going to be playing, because he is very, very savvy and very, very smart. But to me, from looking in the stands and at practice, he looks very slender. That's not always a knock either. You see guys at the next level that are really good corners are a bit more on the slender side. But I guess that would be my only concern is his durability, and whether or not he's able to have the stature that NFL teams are looking for. But as far as understanding of defensive concepts, from what I can see, he's a great, phenomenal player for us. Very headsy, very intelligent, and yesterday was an example of knowing that maybe he could get away with working inside, baiting the quarterback into thinking that he was following the dig route and then following back underneath the wheel route.
Yeah, one of the things about him, and by the way, I'm really good friends with his dad, and he's very vocal, but most of the time it's pretty good. There are some times that it's not, but the thing that I love about Neville is that he, like you said, it does kind of lurk around back there, and sometimes he's a little bit off the radar, but I guarantee you every single quarterback knows exactly where he's at all times, because he kind of plays under the radar, but they don't throw at him nearly as much as they'll throw at the other guys, number one. So I think when he does have the chance and they don't call him for pass interference, strangely sometimes, I think he does a great job, and I was waiting for him to get his hands on a ball yesterday.
Yeah, he's a guy that certainly has held down that side of the field for us. Just want to obviously keep him healthy, but definitely somebody that is capable of making big plays for us, and the defenses are forced to know where they're at constantly.
Absolutely.
So during 2017-2018, prior to McKenzie's injury, UCF was relatively healthy considering the violent nature of the game of football, and there have been some notable injuries this season. Greg McCrae, Bam Moore, but it certainly seems like depth exists on this team all over the place, that they can continue to win without key players like that.
Oh, I mean, depth is probably the biggest strength that this football team has. If you're really breaking it down and looking at it from the quarterback, obviously running back, obviously wide receiver, offensive line has guys you can rotate in. Defensive line has about 10 or 12 you can rotate in. Even when Nate Evans was taking a break yesterday, we were rotating guys at the linebacker position. And we got a freshman at times playing at cornerback. So it's been interesting as far as the recruiting off of the success we've had, because you could argue that our on-field success and our national exposure is probably greater than the sum of talent that we've been able to recruit based off that same timeline. Even now, you look at our recruiting numbers, and we're somewhere in the 40s or 50s nationally, which is hard to wrap your head around. But at the same time, we've been able to establish great depth, and I think Coach Heupel has done a great job over the last 2 years, and even Coach Frost in his final year, of working the networks of transfers with the transfer portal. We've been able to fill gaps, tight end, defensive line. We've been able to shore up some questionable areas for us. Thinking about, we had Jordan Akins on the team 2 years ago. Michael Klubley-Ale last year. We've had depth at the tight end position for a long time, and we've been able to fill that position again with depth through the transfer portal. So this team is very deep in many different areas. It's something that we've seen. It's critical. You can understand why now the Power 5 programs that have had the depth for so many years have stayed on top, because it's a game of attrition. And there's going to be guys that are getting hurt on each and every team every year and every week. And so depth is the key. And so that's why, people always say you're only as good as your first two deep. And so we clearly are on the good side of that, at least for the time being.
Quick turn now. Friday night game at Tulsa, traditionally a place that UCF has not always looked its best. Any concerns on your part, or you feel pretty confident UCF an early 2-touchdown-plus favorite?
This is the type of game that Dylan should really establish leadership. I think when you go on the road in a short week, Tulsa's not very good. The environment is going to be extremely underwhelming. For many of these players, it's probably going to feel like a high school football game there. And I played in a number of those in my days at UCF, where you can't expect to go out to Tulsa and have the game day environment get you ready or get you hyped. You got to go into those type of games really focused. Tulsa's used to playing in front of nobody. Maybe there'll be some more people in the stands because we're a bit more of a draw than we have been in years past going out there. But this is the perfect scenario for Dylan to go against a team on the road, short week, and really show his leadership capabilities and really kind of stretch his legs as a leader, vocal leader, because we should go out there and beat Tulsa. But there are some adversities that we need to go through. Obviously, the short week is one of those things. Secondly, it being a Friday night game and maybe not, too many people there, you need a guy that's going to go in there focused and have the team focused. You don't want to sleepwalk through a game like this and all of a sudden find yourself in a battle in the fourth quarter trying to sneak out a win on the road. You want to go out there, put your foot on their throat, get up 21, 28 points, and get some of that depth that you talked about rotating itself through the football game. And so I'm not concerned about Tulsa, but this is definitely the type of game where you would expect to see and want to see a very focused football team going into this to handle business, get on a plane, and fly back to Orlando.
Absolutely. All right, Kyle, we're not going to take too much more of your time. I want to ask you what's going on at the Little Greek this week.
Well, just been catching our breath collectively after so many openings recently, but still focused on our Winter Park location and a future Apopka location that's opening here in December. I'm personally spending a lot more time at Waterford the next 2 or 3 weeks. If you're over on the east side of town or out by UCF, come in and say hello, but still appreciate the support. And it's been a great 2019.
All righty. Well, we will talk to you next week. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it.
All right. Sounds good, guys. Charge on.
All right, UCF now 7-2, knocking on the door, getting back into the top 25 as we spoke of earlier. It has, however, not changed the likelihood of a prominent bowl. The bowl projections, CBSSports.com, UCF La Tech Gasparilla Bowl, Action Network, Knights, Eastern Michigan in Birmingham. And now one of the ESPN.com projections has UCF and Liberty in the Frisco Bowl.
The Frisco Bowl.
And another of their people has UCF UAB in the Gasparilla Bowl.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I'm not looking forward to any of those.
No. Up next, UCF at Tulsa Friday, November 8th, 7 o'clock, ESPN2. The notes are out for the game. Haven't had a chance to skim them, but I do see on page 1, and Kyle mentioned the atmosphere that you might expect in Tulsa and what will probably be a chilly night, certainly by Florida standards. Capacity of 30,000, and there will not be 30,000 people there, so it will be a quiet,
probably be about 10,000 people there,
probably,
maybe.
And while you'll have some who travel there, it's not like it's a bus trip from New York City to Philadelphia to cheer them on at Temple. You're in the middle of Oklahoma, and so I don't know that we have too many alumni.
Maybe one of the big groups from like Dallas or something will come up.
I'll tell you what, if they ever needed to, fuel off some energy, it's right there. So anyway, that's what's coming up. And so the name of the Sunday show will be wrong with the Friday night game.
Yeah, it'll be the morning after the morning after.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's the new name.
That's what we do. Yeah, and I was thinking about that during basketball season and all. It's not always going to be the morning after, but it will.
The games are all over the place.
Yeah, Sunday mornings will still be there on ESPN 580 in Orlando at 9 a.m. for when we'll be talking basketball all year round. Or football or basketball. We're going to talk about everything still.
It is for the UCF sports calendar. Yeah. We're in this now with men's and women's basketball beginning this week, men's and women's soccer continuing, volleyball, football, fall ball, baseball, softball. Everything is happening right now. Soccer's will come to their conclusion at some point in volleyball, but everything is going right now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about.
Soccer's pretty happening, though. We're going to talk about that here very shortly. But let's hear first an AAC report from Jeff Allen.
Time now to take a look around the rest of the American. Our spotlight game of the week did not disappoint as number 24 Memphis outgunned number 15 SMU 54-48 in front of a sold-out Liberty Bowl. Brady White threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Antonio Gibson had a school record 386 all-purpose yards with 3 scores, but Memphis in the driver's seat in the West at 4-1 and 8-1 overall. It's the Mustangs' first loss of the season, and although they have an identical record, the Tigers now hold the tiebreaker, as well as with Navy, which leads the division by a half game at 5-1. Shane Bichelle threw for 456 and 3 TDs for the Mustangs in defeat, and James Prochet caught 13 passes for 149 and a touchdown. Cincinnati rallied to beat East Carolina 46-43 on Saturday night when Sam Crosa kicked a 32-yard field goal as time expired. ECU's Holt Nailers threw for a school record 535 yards and 4 scores, but threw a costly pick six to Ahmad Gardner, who ran it back 62 yards for a touchdown to give the Bearcats their first lead since early in the second quarter. After ECU tied it with a field goal, Desmond Ritter, who threw for 161 and a TD and rushed for 146, led Cincy down the field for the game-winning field goal to keep the Bearcats atop the East at 4-0 and 7-1 overall. The Pirates fall to 3-6, 0-5 in conference. Justin McMillan ran for 3 touchdowns and passed for another as Tulane outlasted a frisky Tulsa squad 38-26. Tulane became bowl eligible for the second straight year as they moved to 6-3 on the year and 3-2 in conference. Tulsa drops to 2-7, 0-5 in conference. And from Friday night, quarterback Malcolm Perry ran for 108 and 2 TDs and threw for 165 and another score in leading Navy to a 56-10 rout of UConn. It's his 5th straight 100-yard rushing performance. Navy now 7-1, 5-1 in conference, and as we mentioned earlier, holds the lead in the West by a half game. UConn now 2-7, 0-5 in conference. I'm Jeff Allen. I'll have the complete recap of Week 10 and a look ahead to Week 11. I'll give you my nickel's worth on UCF because 2 cents is not enough on the Knights' 44-29 victory over Houston. Plus, we'll hear from Will Kennedy of the Power 6 Rundown newsletter. All that and more on this week's AAC Report only on the Knightline Sports Network.
That never gets old.
It doesn't.
Hearing that. UCF's other football, number 6 ranked men's soccer, clinches back-to-back American Conference championships, beating Memphis 1-0 Friday night. Redshirt freshman Gianluca Arcangeli came off the bench and netted the game winner in the 85th minute.
Well, beating Memphis for another American championship. It's beautiful.
I saw Louis getting the ball and looking up, and as soon as the center back stepped up, I was like, that's the moment to slip in his back. And Louis did an amazing pass, and I was there to receive it. And as soon as the defender went in front of me, I took a step to the side and just hit it, and it was a goal. Amazing.
Well, UCF head coach Scott Calabrese, who, by the way, should just be a shoo-in for Coach of the Year in the league, he was drenched with the Gatorade shower as UCF's unbeaten streak stretched to 14 matches, and you're going to hear how he gets interrupted in this next soundbite by a very happy team.
You like getting the clean sheet. I love getting the clean sheet. And we actually had difficulty in this aspect of the game against Stetson because they scored on 2 crosses, but I really thought today we were so concentrated and focused, the entire back line, on dealing with those crosses, and they had 1 or 2 dangerous moments, but for the most part I thought we defended that.
Sometimes where video really makes it better is that he starts dancing around with the players. Yeah. And they really had a lot of fun celebrating that on Friday night. It was fun moment to watch. Awesome. And they drenched him again a second time while he was doing an interview. So had to duck out of the way.
To them. That's awesome.
Of that. UCF 5-0-1 in the American, 12-1-2 overall in the RPI. UCF 4th. UCF is 6th by the NCAA Division I Men's Soccer Committee. So the American Conference Tournament, UCF got one more game on the road coming up this week, but they'll be the host, winning the American. And now it looks like, ranked as high as they are, they could host subsequent rounds in postseason in the NCAA tournament. So this is one where They may be at home if they, keep winning, obviously, before they have the cup in North Carolina. They could just ride this at home. And so when I said a couple weeks ago, this is a team that could win a national championship in an NCAA-sanctioned event.
So
it
they
could be men's
won
soccer.
the American regular season championship,
Yes.
and then there's an American tournament?
Yes.
Okay.
And they'll host that tournament coming up here.
But did they get like some kind of trophy or something
They
for
did
the
have a trophy.
regular season? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, good.
they did have a trophy for that. A salute to the seniors recognized on senior night. Cal Jennings. Oh, boy, I don't know how they replace Cal Jennings. He's just a force offensively with all the goals that he's had during his career. And Jonathan Dean and Richard Amon. So thanks to them. But there's more soccer. There's still a couple more weeks of this and maybe longer with a deep run by UCF. And, wow, wouldn't it be something to celebrate a national championship in soccer? Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the job that he's done and taken a program that has always had potential, and especially in a state like Florida, and just sort of languished, he's really done an amazing job in his short tenure. Another Danny White hire that has really turned out to be good. Thank you, UCF Orza, who wrote to us. You guys have done great work this season. Always look forward to the podcast. It's chicken soup for a night's soul.
There you go. That's good.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. You've done great work this season. Previous seasons,
Yeah.
No, that's not what he's
we
saying
sucked.
there. Just ahead, we continue our season preview of the 2019-2020 UCF men's basketball season. That gets underway this Saturday, believe it or not.
Crazy.
All this, so much more. Nightline number 209.
Oviedo Brewing Company is the hottest microbrewery in Central Florida. Located 7 miles from UCF at the Oviedo Mall, this 8,800 square foot brewery just opened its doors 6 months ago and has already crafted 13 unique beer flavors and counting in their tap room. The tap room contains different styles of beverages, including ciders, wines, and craft sodas. Not only do they have amazing beers, they also have a full kitchen with gourmet pizzas, wings, and tacos. Oviedo Brewing has activities for each day of the week, such as Taco Tuesdays, Trivia Wednesdays, Pizza and Pint on Thursdays, plus live music on Friday and Saturday evening. But the best is Sunday brunch with unlimited beer mimosas. Need a spot for game day? Oviedo Brewing is just the place with their large TVs to catch all the live games. You will also find Oviedo Brewing at UCF tailgating sampling beers. And OBC support for the Knights doesn't stop there. If you need a spot for UCF away games, come to Oviedo Brewing Company, where the Knightline sports crew will be broadcasting live after the game. You can get all the details on their Instagram or Facebook page. Follow them at Oviedo Brewing CO. Download the Untapped app, and you can find out what beers are on tap. The food menu is also available on their website, oviedobrewingco.com.
You've heard us talk about the great food at our good friend Kyle Israel's restaurant, The Little Greek Fresh Grill. The Little Greek now has franchises available. Please call 407-697-2272. That's 407-697-2272 to see what The Little Greek can do for you. Also, check out The Little Greek's newest location at 6536 Old Brick Road in Windermere, Florida. The Little Greek Fresh Grill. Fresh, flavorful, fabulous. All right, Knights in the pros. Brashad Perryman had a touchdown for the Bucks.
Really?
Yeah.
A touchdown? No, I saw it. I'm just kidding.
Jeez.
Well, you just never say that.
I know. No, I know. 4 for 42 yards, 1 touchdown. The touchdown was kind of weird because it was deflected off of Evans' hands. It probably should have been picked off, but Perryman just happened to be in the right place at the right time, which is not normal for him either. He had a couple of good catches, though, in this, and kind of went on my boy Shaquille. Was covering him and not covering him very good because he caught one over the back shoulder over Shaquille, which was really nice.
As I saw JP Gilbert at JP Gilbert online saying that's UCF on UCF crime, man.
Yeah, it was big time. With the New Orleans Saints on a bye week, UCF welcomed running back Latavius Murray and Traquan Smith. Also with them, Josh Robinson, who announced his retirement earlier this week. That's a little bit surprising. He's not that old of a guy, kind of a younger guy. So
you're starting to see more and more of that, though.
Yeah, wish him luck in his retirement. That's cool. So they were all at the game this week, and I saw lots of pictures. I did not get over there. I should have gone over there to that area where they were at, so I could have seen them. And then, hey, Tristan Hill, stay awake. Former Knight and current Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle in the news this week for showing up late to practice and for nodding off during a talk from Basketball Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas.
Hill's denying.
Hill is denying this,
Yes.
and I saw the tweet that I wasn't asleep. All my guys will, vouch for me. He was asleep. This is exactly why he fell out of, like with the coaches last year and the year before, really, to be honest with you. There were a couple of times that they, he played a lot, but they didn't start him.
A lot of talent.
He needs to grow up. And this is a thing that has happened for a long time, been happening with him for a long time. Yes, he's still young. He's a rookie. But he cannot ruin this chance that he has here. Somebody needs to mentor this guy, and I don't know what it's going to take.
Rod Marinelli was trying to do.
But I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, he's got the world in front of him. The world are in his hands. He just needs to take it and run with it.
It's when it gets frustrating when you see someone with a great deal of talent who can be very successful.
Going to wind up like Bruce Miller
and wants to
at some point.
that.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing. It's horrible that these guys, have the opportunity to make millions and millions of dollars, and then they squander it because they do something stupid.
And the career is only a couple of years. Typically average career for these guys, and
like 3.2 years or something like that. It's crazy. So come on, Tristan Hill. I know you're not listening, but still, come on.
Well, he's asleep. No, he denies it. He denies it. All right, well, a bit of an unusual thing before this space game, a sand-breaking instead of, groundbreaking pre-space game. UCF brought out the shovels and surfboards at the future home of McNamara Cove, a.k.a. the Lazy River project over by the UCF football practice fields. Athletics Director Danny White says 1/4 of the 250 spots have already been sold. Not bad at this point. They haven't really been pushing it. So, a little groundbreaking. We'll put it back in the headlines. He is touting this term cove gating. I think you're going to start to hear that one a lot more around UCF circles. Not only as a recruiting tool, a revenue generator, but a perk for student athletes. And DW reinforced the whole theme while wearing the distinct Canaveral blue logoed polo.
You wearing Canaveral blue today?
I am. I thought I'd join the space game festivities. Throw a little blue in my wardrobe.
Will we see more of that color in other sports uniforms?
I don't know. We'll see. We've restricted it to football so far, but the fun thing about UCF is our traditions are ahead of us, so we're always trying new stuff.
Horrible music. Horrible.
I knew. They set us up right next to it, so I knew you were going
right next to a speaker. Yeah.
Steel drum band.
Horrible.
No, that was a
it was an actual band?
Yeah, they had a guy there with steel drums.
I hate that. I hate that music.
Yeah, so he was set up right there. Look for more than 600 feet of lazy river by the start of the 2020 football season. Cove gating, a new part of the UCF football game day experience. So you know where the practice fields are.
I know
in that
where
area
it's going to be, yeah. I walked right past it.
So you see that spot where they have the sign. They're saying that it's going to go all the way to the paved parking lot. So pictures. So they're going to be eating up a lot of what is premium parking. I mean, that's going to displace everybody.
Tailgating spots.
Yes, premium tailgating space. So how deep it will go in that lot, I'm not sure of that, but he did say that it was going to go all the way to the paved lots.
Wow.
So 600 feet of lazy river.
Yeah, well, I love me some lazy rivers. That's good stuff. Nothing like a lazy river.
Island H2O Live, a new wave of water park.
Experience the next generation of fun at Island H2O Live. You choose the music, you choose the lighting, and you choose where to share your memorable moments at Florida's newest and most immersive water park.
Island H2O Live.
Now open in Kissimmee, located off US 192 and State Road 429 on Inspiration Boulevard.
Island H2O Live.
Well, it's interesting that commercial just happened to play in that exact spot, because guess who was building that lazy river for the McNamara Cove? It's the same guys that built the one at Island H2O Live. Amazing, isn't it?
Did not know that.
Yeah. So somebody here is going to get a chance to go to H2O Live in Kissimmee. And that person is, Trace, take it away.
This week's winner with a 5-star review, Scott the Knight 21, who says, Trace and Andrew masterfully combine on-air chemistry, inside information,
so nice,
and impactful guests into an enjoyable and insightful case, sure to keep. Did I type it wrong? Hold on a second. Let me go back. Did I type that wrong? Oh, insightful cast. I spelled the word wrong. Yes, I messed up this read. Insightful cast, sure to keep Knights fans in the know. You don't get to 200 episodes of anything without effort and passion. Consider this your definite source for all aspects of UCF athletics.
Wow. This guy, I like this guy. Scott the Knight, 21. So, Scott the Knight, 21, you are the winner of 4 tickets to H2O Live, Island H2O Live. That's very cool. You're going to enjoy the lazy river out there for sure. And then the next one, the next person that sends us a 5-star review on Apple or wherever, Apple most likely, you're going to win as well. So we're going to keep this thing going. Thank you to those guys out there at Island H2O. A really, really cool place, and you will really, really enjoy it. Run by a Knight and all that stuff. So there are definitely Knights stuff going on out there as well. So very, very cool that they're doing this. Very cool that you're going to get to go. I'm going to get to go. Lots of people are going to get to go. So very cool.
So less than a week away, as we've been saying, from the start of the men's basketball season. Women's basketball starts even earlier than that this week. So unbelievable that has come upon us in the 2019 year. I went to the... Before I went out to the sand breaking there, I went out to the UCF practice, the little scrimmage that they did, and they have the opening tip, and there's no Taco Fall anymore with the opening tip. So
did we win the opening tip?
Well, it was UCF on UCF.
We won it. Okay,
we won
that was my question.
It's going to take a while, fans, to get used to
seeing. We were
used
used to winning every one of those tips.
Yeah,
so
but I mean, just seeing the new guys, it's going to take you a little bit.
Who was the tallest guy?
I'm not sure. Maybe our next our upcoming interview, he may be the tallest guy.
Okay,
I'll have to look at the roster.
Is he a 7-footer?
7'1", I think.
Okay,
yeah,
well, there
maybe
you go.
our bowl,
Yeah.
the bowl kid is I think 7'1".
Oh yeah,
as
that's
well.
true too.
Yeah. Knightline's coverage of Countdown to the Season Opener continues now. We hear from one of the many new faces on this season's edition of the Knights. He's Matt Milan, Oviedo native, transfers in from William & Mary. Now listen to his stats. He shot 44.2% from the field, including 40.1% from three-point range. Milan says, do not sleep on UCF being competitive in the American this season.
What do you make of preseason projections that have you guys 9th? Does it matter to you and the team?
No, I don't think it matters to me. My first year at William & Mary, we picked 8th. We finished 4th. We had the tie for first for a while in the conference, and we let it slip at the end. So that was really, we lost a lot of seniors, same as this scenario. A lot of unknowns, things like that. So I understand why they pick us 9th, because you have 9 new guys, 10 total, who have never played for UCF, including myself. So, I mean, I'm realistic with that. I know why, but at the same time, I think we have a lot of really good players on this team.
You be underestimated then?
No, you could say so. Yes. We'll see.
All right, I looked at the roster. Moses Bowl, 7'1". 7'1". Our next guest on the Knightline show is 6'11". 6'11". He's a new face.
Kind of short.
To most Knights fans. Uat Alak, TCU transfer who sat out the 2018-19 season. Let us get to know the redshirt junior forward.
A lot of new guys on this team. Folks don't know you. Tell us a little bit about you.
Uat Alak from Auckland, New Zealand. So, a versatile forward.
And you're ready to see some real game action.
Yeah, for sure. I'm ready to play. After sitting out a year due to injury, I'm ready to play.
What was it like to watch that season unfold and not be able to participate in it the way you would hope to?
I had to learn. I had to sit on the sideline, learn from players like Taco and Chad, and just kind of bring that to the table and more of my game too.
Might help make your game better after all.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely.
When this offense is working like you all hope it will, what will it look like?
We're very versatile. We got tall guys that play like guards, so we're very versatile. We play hard.
What will fans come to appreciate about your game? What will you show them out on the court?
Just coming to play hard every day, every game. Give it the best I can.
Coach Dawkins has talked about needing to be more of a teacher this year. How have you seen that during camp?
It's gotten a lot better. his teaching is very simple. So all we have to do is listen to what he says and execute on the court, and it means we could be successful.
Do you see your teammates absorbing what he and coaches are saying?
Yeah.
Putting it into practice?
Yes, I see my teammates.
Coach Dawkins has always prided himself and the team on playing stout defense. Do you see that still being a part of the UCF Knight style of basketball?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working a lot on defense. So that's our main focus, is just to play hard, because if you know you can play defense, you're going to get offense. So,
with the turnover that has happened on this team that is well documented and publicized, most preseason projections have UCF towards the bottom. Does it surprise you? And does it really mean anything to you guys?
I mean, we've always been slept on, so, they should watch out. We're not going to finish as they say it is. We're going to be a lot better. Yeah.
As you watched, what do you make of the play in the American from top to bottom, the teams that are in the league?
It's a pretty good conference. Every night is, it could be anybody's game. So,
and what will a successful season look like for you?
For me, just winning. Hoping to make it back to the tournament. Yeah, but mostly just our team play hard and play together.
All right, nice kid. Looking forward to seeing what he can do for the Knights
Absolutely.
this season.
I can't wait because, we don't know. We maybe know like two of these guys.
Not
the
many.
rest of them are all new guys.
We're all going to get to know them together. So on that point, I exchanged messages with Ben Stout and said, hey, do you want to come on this week to preview the season?
That's a 7-footer.
Yeah. This week to preview the season? He said, you know what? I want to watch them one game before, because, you haven't really gotten a chance to see them.
Is the game that's coming up this week on TV?
It'll be on something, ESPN, something.
I think it's on ESPN because I saw it on
It's November 9th, Saturday, Prairie View A&M. First tip at 3 at the arena. That will be the start of the 2019-20 season. So budget some time next week, episode 210. Ben Stout with his observations of Game 1 and a little bit greater sense of what he thinks we will be taking a look at. But he really wanted to see him firsthand before diving in on a preview. So it seems logical and sensible.
Yeah, I was looking on the ESPN app. It's on there as far as that the game is happening, but I don't see TV listed on there. So
it'll be on something.
Maybe even Knights TV or something.
I don't think they'd put it on Twitch, would they?
Maybe.
Let's see.
I guess that's where they've been showing soccer. And
this one's listed as ESPN 3.
Oh, okay.
ESPN
so maybe it is.
3.
Good.
Looking ahead as well on your Knightline planner, men's soccer at Cincinnati Tuesday the 5th. On the 6th, women's basketball opens at home 11 a.m. at the arena. 11 a.m. That's an odd start time, midweek game. On Friday the 8th, baseball at Stetson and fall ball. Volleyball welcomes ECU at 7 at the venue. On the 9th, softball welcomes Florida State in fall ball. Women's basketball is at Belmont. Big volleyball match on the 10th. Cincinnati at the venue at 1. Softball tangles with Florida at 2 in fall ball. Got a shout out from our buddy Eric Kohler at EK Sports _radio. Thank you, UCF Knightline, for always supporting the UCF Knights family. Your energy matters.
Awesome. Well, yeah, we haven't had him on in a long time.
We got
There's
a bye
lot
week
of people,
coming up.
Yeah, maybe we can have him on
Maybe
that
we just
bye
shake
week.
up the whole show and just guest after guest.
Maybe.
What about that?
Be interesting. Yeah,
maybe we'll do
you never
that.
know.
A War on I-4 rivalry update, and who might Cincinnati lose to in football? That and Ask Knightline when Knightline number 209 returns.
Hey Night Nation, it's Adam from the Sons of UCF. Be sure to check out our show every Wednesday only on the Knightline Sports Network. Now, back to two guys who probably won't be Cow of the Week nominees, Andrew and Trace.
Ask a Knightline is brought to you by Chad Barr Law. Chad is a UCF alumnus and diehard Knights fan. Chad Barr Law handles auto accident, slip and fall, and personal injury cases. Call Chad today at 407-599-9036 for a free consultation. That's 407-599-9036. Armor up and call Chad Barr Law today.
Time again for Ask Knightline, answering the questions that you send us on our Facebook page or via Twitter at #AskKnightline. Potpourri here of questions. At Brian W. Peterson, is UCF now a third quarter team? Certainly the last two games.
That's fine.
Well, remember jumping out early in the first quarter of games, and now
I guess he
third quarter.
listened to all. I guess Heupel listened to all the coaches online that he should, play the entire game and not let up. So now he's decided, okay, you want us to play in the third quarter? We'll just play in the third quarter. How about that?
We'll
just
great.
Start in the third quarter.
Both of these last two games, the third quarter's been solid.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. I mean, just really
They've come
big.
alive.
I like that question.
Maybe he's just toying with them, letting them think they're going to get ahead and let them score a couple times.
This week in practice, we're going to be a second quarter team just to get
second half.
Just
We're only playing the second
going
half.
into a bye week.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got two on a similar thought. We touched on it briefly. At UCF Guy 23, what did we think of the Wild Knight series with three quarterbacks touching the ball in one series? And at Bogey 0711, thoughts on the Mac Winbush package? I'm definitely a fan. Like it.
Yeah.
Wish it had been several games ago, but
it's a different thing you can throw in there. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna be a regular thing, but it's something you can throw in every once in a while.
Couple of questions here at Skillern, Skillern. Why so many one receiver routes?
I don't know. I think it's just Dylan Gabriel being comfortable and the guy's open, so just throw it to the guy.
Second long in the middle run is our go-to, question mark?
Second and long in the middle run. I think it just sets stuff up.
I think it sets stuff up.
It's the same. This is the same thing that we've been talking about. It sets. You have to. Kyle said it perfectly this morning when we were talking about it on the morning after show. It keeps the linebackers where they're supposed to be if you're running up the middle. They can't go out and wind up being really wide when we spread the entire field. So it keeps them honest by getting them to watch the middle of the field. You never know when it's going to go up the middle. So if it goes up the middle, they're not going to be out in pass coverage. So it keeps them in there.
And I butchered this Twitter handle before, so I'm just going to spell it at SADESROCHERS.
You missed the third question.
Oh, did I miss the third question?
Yeah, from Skillerin.
The D-line seems to change every week, question mark.
Well, the D-line rotates a lot of players in there.
He's narrowed it down a bit, though. Remember,
narrowed it down a little bit.
Yeah, he was pretty forthcoming in the beginning of the season, saying, hey, we got 8 guys. We're going to keep rotating in until we see who sticks. And,
I tell you who is really doing a good job, 22 out there on the defensive line. That's Kalia Davis.
Kalia Davis?
Yeah, doing a great job. That dude is a monster. And imagine, he came in as a linebacker. And put a lot of weight on, and man, he's an absolute monster out there.
All right, so this one was at SADESROCHERS. I spelled that because I apparently said it wrong in a previous episode sometime back, and I got called out on it. So I'm not sure how.
Shades Rochers or something, or Rochers? I don't know.
Which tight end is our most complete player for the position?
Probably.
We saw the 2 score last week at Temple.
Hescock is not the guy; it's the other guy,
McAllister.
Yeah, I think it's more McAllister than Hescock.
Do you think this is what we're going to see from this position? This is about.
I
what we're
don't think
going to
it's
see.
fully developed into what it should be with this offense. I think because we've got such good receivers, he's not using it as much.
It's not going to be this week. I'll try and keep it in the back of my mind for another week. I just work schedule. I can't do it, but I'd like to put in a request to maybe talk to the tight ends coach and maybe explore this theme a little bit more because I'm kind of curious about it as well.
Yeah.
Just the use.
I'm surprised. Because I said from the beginning that because if you go back and watch that Missouri footage, he used the tight end a lot more.
At Free Sport Travel, as long as there is a waiting list for football season tickets, should UCF Athletics limit how many student tickets are available in future seasons? I don't think it's that easy because of the student athletic fee that these students pay. I don't know the particulars. It's a good question that also warrants some follow-up. I don't know if they're guaranteed 12,000 seats.
I have no idea.
Because they can't sell those seats. They're part of that allotment for the students. So if the students don't show, say 6,000 of the 12,000 show.
Well, maybe they should make those student sections smaller, though. I think that's what he's saying.
I don't know that they can, though, because of the athletic fee.
They can do anything
pay.
that they want.
I don't know if it's that simple.
think.
No, I think because of the athletic fee, I think the student government, I think they get a certain percentage of seats.
And they can also go back to them, and if it's a negotiable thing, they can say, if you don't fill these seats, then let us sell them. I mean, there's no reason why those seats should be empty if there's people waiting for season tickets. I totally agree with
I'm going
this
to tuck
guy.
that in the back of my head, too, and see if that comes up as
Ask Danny White
as a
about
question. When you're by the steel drum band, or the steel drums, and the tiki setup
People
and everything,
were
you can't
asking
ask
him other
that
stuff, though.
Yeah, they're asking about player compensation, but I'll keep that one in the back of my head. Cindy again, at Cindy Kilgallen. How do we look going into next week's away game? I hope we keep our head in the game and keep charging on.
Well, you know what? You
just
can
always
find
a goofy
out.
place.
You can find out on Friday when I put out Adam's Nightline Extra.
Will it come out Friday or Thursday?
Well, Thursday night,
Yeah.
Friday morning.
Yeah, that'd be
no,
good
but
prep.
I'm just messing with it.
That'd be good prep.
It's
It's going to be colder. It's going to be colder,
Yeah.
and they don't always play well when they go to Tulsa. I mean, they're a much better team than Tulsa, so there isn't any question about that. Tulane, I think, put more than 300 yards on the ground, so maybe you see a little rerun of the Temple game where UCF's just trying to run the ball down their throat.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
You don't want to get tripped up there, though. You're going into a bye
Nah.
week, and
We've
we
struggled
know,
on the road, so you never know.
and we know what happened the last time we were going into a bye week.
Yeah.
We stubbed our toe.
Yeah.
So you want to take care of Tulsa, go into the bye week, and finish the season
Tulsa's
strong.
played
So
some pretty good games.
they've had a run of teams. They
Yeah.
should have knocked off Memphis. And then
Yeah.
you see what Memphis did in a big primetime showcase, and it seemed like they hit it out of the park.
They played SMU pretty well.
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, I don't think they're anybody to not look at as a good opponent. You definitely don't want to look past them. So, hopefully, we'll keep that in the game, like you said, and charge on.
You want to read this next one while I look up this schedule so I know what I'm talking about here?
This one's from Brando Nitro. Cincy game so close to losing to ECU, or Cincy came so close to losing to ECU. Do you think they'll lose 2 this season? If so, which games?
We really needed them to lose to ECU. Here's the schedule. Coming up Saturday, they have UConn at home.
Yeah.
That's easy. Following week, they go to Tampa.
Yeah, that could. I mean, you never know. I'm gonna be rooting for the Cows. I'm going to.
But
I hate to do it.
The
but
Cows don't have a quarterback that can throw for. What do you have? What Oilers have?
535.
Yeah, they don't have a quarterback that can do that
No.
to them. But you see, in every level of sport, going on the road
You never
can
know.
trip you up.
You never know.
The two that
Temple.
really are the most.
Don't they have to play
yeah,
Temple?
So Temple comes to Cincinnati November 23. Temple, if I'm not mistaken, has beaten Cincinnati 4 straight seasons.
Yep.
So I think our fans feel like Temple was a weak team. Temple's not been a weak team.
No.
I think that also speaks to the strength of UCF, that they made Temple look bad. Temple's not a bad team.
No, they were weak when they played us. That's the only time this season so far that they've really looked like that, though.
And then, so UConn will be a win. Tampa, you got to think they're going to win that game because they're the better team. You root for Temple, but that's a home game for Cincinnati. And, of course, none of it will matter if they don't have that loss by that point. But Cincinnati at Memphis in the final game of the regular season. You got to Memphis is going to want to win the West.
Yep.
I mean, there's several games that can happen. And so they could trip up as well and put Navy or even SMU back into the driver's seat. But that's the one right there. You want a hungry Memphis that wants to win the West, win that game.
Yeah.
That's the one you want right there.
Yeah,
but,
that'd be great.
However it happens, we need 2.
We're definitely going to be rooting for anybody who plays Cincinnati.
All right, so at Manny Morris closes this out. He goes, with the holiday approaching, if Santa could grant our team one gift of change or improvement per phase of the game and play calling, what would you wish for? He lists 4. So is this one question with 4 choices? Or has he thrown 4 questions in
That's
there?
4 choices.
All right, you give one gift of change or improvement to the offense.
Oh,
what do you give?
So we're going to do that like this? We're
Yeah.
going to do it each section.
What would you give to the offense to improve or change the offense?
Well, I would just say a little bit more consistency. overall, and maybe limiting these 3 and outs. Magic first downs, on first down.
Besides something like stout play along the offensive line, which is kind of general, I think what we just touched on, I'd like to see, or maybe we won't in this offense, but if you're asking me, I'd like to see the tight end as a greater offensive pass-catching threat. So,
okay.
All right, one gift to the defense.
Man, I see.
Third quarters.
I looked
all
at this,
4 quarters.
Yeah. I would say better play during the first half of the games versus the second half. I mean, even though it hasn't really been a problem, but if we're nitpicking and we got to pick something, I'm going to pick that.
They've also been softer up in the middle of the field at times. So,
I was going to say better linebacker play, but it's not necessarily bad. I mean, I don't think any of these things are necessarily bad. So it's hard for me to. I looked at this question earlier when you sent it, and I knew I was going to have difficulty with it because I don't think any of these things are necessarily bad.
Special teams. I'm going to throw out. I would like Daniel Obarski to not kick the ball out of bounds ever, ever, ever again.
I'm going to second you on that one because
in a phase of the game I've never had to pay much attention to. Now I look up and watch the kickoff. So he's got me paying attention.
Did he do it like once on Saturday?
No, he didn't do it.
None.
No,
Okay.
no, he didn't do
it.
It
was
Saturday.
last week that he.
Yeah.
I think he only did it once last week.
Yeah. Well, it should be the answer to that should be 0.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of factors in that though as well. There's wind. There's all kinds of stuff. Yes,
8 times.
There's all
8 times.
He's a freshman.
No.
He's a true freshman.
Gotta knock that off. Coaching and play calling.
I'm not even going to answer this one.
You got to give him one gift.
I'm not going to go there.
Oh, come on.
I'm not going to do it.
Cop-out. This is your favorite segment.
Know,
It's Manny.
I know it's Manny.
It's Manny.
He
asked one question with 4 parts.
I know, but I'm not going to.
That doesn't mean it's a critical thing. The question is, what would be one gift of change or improvement?
Well, that says it, though. Change or improvement makes it sound like there's something wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong, personally. So I'm just going to say keeping this coaching staff that we have, the entire staff, around for another year. That's what I want.
That's an interesting question, too.
That's what I want right there.
We'll have more opportunity to discuss in the weeks ahead.
Yeah.
What will I say to this?
I'm going to disagree with it. I bet you anything.
How do I phrase this? I don't. It's not an accountability from maturing. Maturing as a head coach from Josh Heupel. Just learning from things that didn't work, and I also want to see them put game plans together that win better in close games, which I don't think we've seen. They win most of their games in blowouts.
The fifth on this one.
They win most of their games in blowouts, so they don't have to win close games. And I don't think that
You'd rather see close games than blowouts?
No, but I want to see them win close games.
Okay.
Especially those on the road.
Okay.
Because certainly with Cincinnati, I felt like Luke Fickell and his staff outcoached UCF. And I want to say on this show,
I think their players outplayed them.
In a game like that, I want to say, you know why we won this road game in tight fashion? Because of coaching. We outcoached them. And I don't know that we said that.
Maybe you can do a better job than Heupel does.
You're
another guy.
Oh,
maybe you should apply for that job. You should apply for that job up there in Florida State.
I think that's a silly statement because when you get criticized, you say, well, you have the mic. We can analyze and criticize. We have the opportunity to do that. There's a bit of a difference. I'm not saying that I'm trying to be coach. The guy's 19-3.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm trying to be coach, but it doesn't make him immune from some criticism.
I love Manny, but these questions like this, though, stir that pot. Questions like this, all this is stirring the pot.
He invoked Santa Claus in that. It's a holiday-flavored
I know, but like change or improvement. Why does there need to be change or improvement?
Well, they're not 9-0.
And why would you list coaching play calling?
They're not 9-0.
Oh, boy.
Well, there's room. Well, we'll just channel your inner Heupel. He himself says that the team needs to play better. We didn't even include fewer penalties, fewer costly penalties.
Okay, there you go. Well, maybe that's what you should have said.
Well,
instead of
I don't know that I put that on him as much as players.
All right. Well, you asked him about it, so you must have put it on.
Well, he did answer. He was not happy with the penalties, even though there were just 5 this week, which I was actually glad that he expressed a little bit of emotion about penalties.
I really just wish that we would stop. Everybody should just. I just think that let Heupel be a coach. That's all I want. Let him be the coach. Let him get fired if he's going to get fired. He's not. But let him have the chance to do it. Let him have the chance to be the savior or the whatever the opposite of that is. Just give him the chance. Everybody quit being a freaking armchair coach. It's getting old. It's really getting old. It's been old since the first time it started happening. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
It's the nature of the game.
But
it's the nature of the game.
This is the other thing that is wrong with social media.
Let us not forget.
It's brought this all out.
That people were calling for Johnny Dawkins
a
year ago,
and
right?
That was stupid too.
Right?
That was stupid.
People
obviously.
were frustrated with Dawkins.
Yeah.
They had all that talent.
Right.
Why aren't they winning?
Yeah.
And then, a bounce away from
Give
beating
him the
Duke.
chance to freaking do it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Even you, Manny, who seems to have annoyed Andrew with your questions
it's just...
Ask Knightline, guys.
Sometimes the
Knightline.
questions are, to stir the pot. And it worked. Manny did the job that he was trying to do. He knew that it was going to... I know he knew that it was going to make me mad. I know people ask questions.
I'm going to phrase it differently when I ask for the questions. I usually put something general. What's on your mind? Ask Knightline. This week I'm going to say, what will tick Andrew off? Ask your question
piss Andrew off.
Week.
Yeah.
Thank you for your questions.
It
you
happens.
too, Manny.
It's all good. Thank you. And now, news and notes from the world of UCF sports. All right, women's soccer beats Houston in the first round of the American Conference Tournament. UCF is 5-2-2 in the American, 11-3-4 overall. In the RPI, 108th. That means UCF is going to have to win the American Championship to make the NCAA field. Up next, the Knights travel to Memphis for the next round of the AAC tourney. The War on I-4 moves to Tennessee as UCF tangles with the Cows Thursday at 5:30 p.m. with coverage on the American Digital Network. Thanks to seniors recognized on Senior Night, Konya Plummer, Elise LaGrout, Peyton Grell, Sandy Sorey, Mac Thompson, and Jessica Taylor.
Not bad, not bad. Yeah, they have to win out because of the 108 RPI. And they just beat the Cows last week, 1-0. So they can do that. And they lost.
And it's in Tennessee?
Memphis is the host.
Oh, okay.
So Memphis is the host. Volleyball beats SMU in Dallas 3-1 Sunday. Volleyball's 9th straight win. UCF swept the Cows Friday night. UCF has not lost to the Cows since 2012. Or 2,600 days.
Wow. That's crazy.
UCF 11-1 in the American, 18-6 overall. RPI, 27th. Redshirt senior libero Mackenzie Kuckminer is the American's Defensive Player of the Week.
Wow. All right. Between women's soccer and volleyball wins, UCF now leads the War on I-4 rivalry season-long competition 18-6 over the Cows.
Nice. Cross country finishes 11th at the American Championships in Memphis. That one didn't work out so
11th
well.
11th is not acceptable.
You know who finished 10th? The Cows.
Oh.
They got 6 points. That's where their 6 points comes from.
Fire the cross-country coach, because this is not acceptable. Danny White, come on. 11th? 11th in the American. How many teams are there?
12.
I know.
Yeah.
That's not good.
They just got to. All they had to do was finish 9th, and they would have swept those points.
I know. All right. Baseball welcomes 20 new recruits while fall ball gets underway with a win over Stetson. And here are their names. No, I'm just joking.
I was kind on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Softball beats Seminole State in fall ball.
Men's golf finishes 8th at the Intercollegiate at Innisbrook in Palm Harbor, Florida.
Men's tennis sophomore Juan Pablo Grassi Mazzucci, that's a heck of a name, earns runner-up status at the ITA Southeast Regional Championships.
I thank you very much for not giving me that one.
one.
And finally, who said tailgating was just a football thing? Memory Mall is open for tailgating before men's basketball's first game Saturday afternoon with Prairie View A&M and the following game against Miami.
Fans should, or students at least, should go out to Memory Mall and have some fun.
I've thought about this. I mean, we need to think Travis and I need to get a tailgate going on out there some night before a basketball game. That
Saturday.
would be fun.
Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I don't know about Saturday afternoon, but
it's hard to do it midweek, though.
Well, yeah.
You know when that game time, by the way, with Miami?
No.
9 p.m.
Really? Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to basketball this year, though. It's going to be fun. So I'm going to have to go to as many games as possible, I think. So you'll see me out there in the Loge, hopefully. All right. This has been Knightline 209. I'm Andrew Phegley.
I'm Trace Trylko. Go Knights!
Charge on.
UCF, charge on to the field. With our spirits, we'll never yield. Black and